Also in honor of Women's History Month, LSU joined in the month-long celebration of women's contributions to society. Jasmine Haynes follows how the Women's Center strives to put her story back in history.
The Helen M. Carter LSU Women's Center hosts events and gatherings concerning women's issues throughout the year. But during Women's History Month, the center acknowledges someone who has aided the advancement of women with the Esprit des Femmes Award. This year's recipient, Chief Justice Catherine Kitty Kimball's keynote address, included how one woman's voice in the creation of the Equal Credit Act impacted Kimball's career. When the LSU law graduate asked a banker for a loan to start her own practice, the banker turned to Kimball's husband and she replied,
"Don't look at my husband to sign my note for my law practice."
The Women's Center focuses on providing an outlet for discussion, expression, information, and sowing a seed of community service in honor of Women's History Month. Here at the Women's Center, volunteers have prepared these 50 care packages to aid women at the Baton Rouge Area Alcohol and Drug Center. Director of the LSU Women's Center, Catherine Hopkins, says both recognition and service are essential to celebrating women's history.
Women have made a lot of contributions and significant contributions to American society and to the world, and it's important to remember that, but also to celebrate that and use it to inspire women in the future.
Whether Women's History Month encourages remembrance or community service, Hopkins says that the Women's Center events must reach one main goal.
We want to highlight ordinary women doing extraordinary things so that we can inspire other women and men to, rise up.
For Tiger TV, I'm Jasmine Haynes, Eye on LSU.
The Women's Center will host a statewide leadership conference at the end of the month. Congress first expanded International Women's Day to Women's History Month in 1987. Still to come on Newsbeat, Alexandra Cranford gives us a look at your St. Patrick's Day weather.
And later, hundreds of folks will be unemployed after this big moneymaker shuts down.
But first, if you had plans to go to Mexico for spring break, you may want to look elsewhere. More Newsbeat after the break.
Welcome back to Newsbeat. If you were considering taking a trip to Mexico for spring break, you might want to think again.
As the drug wars heat up along the U.S.-Mexican border, tourists are giving their Mexican vacations a second thought. Arizal Deuce speaks with one man who's considering ditching his summer trip to Cancun.
You just get little blurbs of this or that, and then all of a sudden things are racing in your mind of what.
Terry Butler is a worrier.
You hate to go down on a vacation and have fear.
On his mind lately, a vacation to Cancun in June. He's having doubts after reading about the violence along the U.S.-Mexico border between the drug cartels.
You think of what went on over in India with the hotel getting bombarded.
Here's the areas that are having problems.
Catherine Banks with Legacy Travel says she's swamped with calls from travelers asking about security across the border.
We're in the destination approximately once a month.
According to a travel alert from the State Department, tourist areas like Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, and Cozumel are safe.
To Cancun and the Riviera Maya, 1,400 miles, 2,000 miles.
That's from the border towns where the violence has escalated. Experts fear that could impact travel even throughout the summer.
The things that are affecting people now are going to have an effect all the way through the summer.
Though the deals are limited now for spring break, you can save big for this summer. Packages including airfare, hotel, and all you can eat and drink can start at just $600.
As long as things don't escalate.
Terry says he's not ready to cancel just yet.
If it stays as is, then I don't have any problem going.
So he'll be watching and reading what's going on very carefully.
The U.S. State Department has had a travel alert in places for over a year regarding rising drug cartel-related crime in northern Mexico. It was last renewed in February.
An iconic image in Columbus, Ohio is coming down, the red neon Wonder Bread sign. After 90 years, the bakery will bake its last loaf in May. Kevin Landers reports.
It's a shame people's losing the good paying jobs.
After 24 years as an employee for Wonder Bread, Ed Fitch learned his career will end in 2 months.
We knew it was coming, but we just didn't think it was going to come this early.
This worker, who asked we not use his name, worked here for 29 years. Did you ever think this day would come?
No, I never did. I mean, from day one when I first started in 1980, they said the place was closing, so that was like every year you would hear that rumor. But now it's true.
The truth is, Interstate Bakeries Incorporated, which bought Wonder Bread, has been struggling. It just emerged from bankruptcy and blames declining bread sales for the closure of this plant.
They've been in trouble for a while. They've closed several other plants.
But this is more than a plant closing. The company, along with its neon red sign, has been a part of Italian Village for 90 years. 9 decades worth of pumping the warm smell of bread into the air.
I'll miss the smell of it. I've been here for about a year and a half, and there's nothing like waking up to the smell or smelling it when you come home from work.
The loss of the plant, coupled with a stalled condominium development across the street, does have some people wondering about the future of the village.
You know, Jeffrey Place across 4th Street needs to be, moving along with their plans.
The plan now for 70 bakers and 17 drivers is to look for work before their jobs end. For many, this is all they've known.
I just hate to see everybody else lose their jobs.
The Wonder Bread plant in Columbus isn't the only one closing its doors. The Springfield, Missouri factory will also shut down in May. We're joined now by Alexandra Cranford with weather. Alex, today's St. Patrick's Day, and we couldn't have asked for prettier weather.
I know, it's gorgeous out there, isn't it? It was a different story over the weekend for the parade, but now it's looking good, and it looks like it'll stay that way for the week. I'll tell you more coming up next here on Newsbeat. Welcome back to Newsbeat. I'm Alexandra Cranford. Well, we really got some rain over the weekend. Of course, you noticed, I'm sure, especially if you headed out to the St. Patrick's Day parade on Saturday. It wasn't too terrible during the day, but we saw those showers roll in, and we certainly saw them yesterday as well. So our rainfall totals are back up, and our temperatures are back up as well. Most of Louisiana saw temperatures topping out in the upper 70s today. That upper level trough that we were expecting for the weekend went ahead and it moved on through. It brought those disturbances that were causing all that rain. Now that it's moved past us, an area of high pressure has slid into its place right over the southeast region. So the air is warmer and drier now. It's like that over most of the nation too. It looks like it'll stay that way for the entire week. Our high climbed to just under 80 degrees today, so our St. Patrick's Day is mainly warm and clear. We really have nothing to worry about in the way of rain. A few clouds this morning, but mostly sunshine now. This evening, temperatures will drop into the 60s and will hit our overnight low in the low 50s. Some clouds will roll in, but no real chance for any rain. We really don't have much in the way of wind. It'll be pretty calm and cool throughout most of the nighttime hours. Tomorrow's looking good too. It should be a lot like today. We'll have clear skies and sun overhead and a high temperature approaching just about 80 degrees. And it looks like that'll be the story for the following days as well. Let's check out that 5-day forecast. Those temperatures will continue to hit the mid to upper 70s and lows will stay in the mid 50s. We'll get sunshine into Saturday. We've got a 30% chance for showers on Sunday, but it looks like it'll be a great weekend apart from that. We'll keep an eye on that possible rain for Sunday, but that's still a long way off. In the meantime, we'll get to enjoy some really nice spring weather for the entire week. And that's your weather for today. Hobie's got the updates on this week's sports.
Thanks, Alex. With the NFL draft only a month away, 13 LSU draft hopefuls worked out at Pro Day yesterday. We'll tell you how they did. And after losing in the semifinal of the SEC tournament, we'll tell you how the LSU basketball team has been placed in the NCAA tournament. All that's next in sports.